I've carried on working on theatre. I've had I was artist in residence at Contact through their at home scheme, and I did an installation piece there called Threads, which was a sound installation piece with video, which was basically looking at the correlation between Manchester and India and through colonialism, and basically it was a piece that what I tried to do with the piece was sort of like look at the music of Manchester and how it developed, because I was involved in the rave scene back in the late 80s, early 90s, where it all happened in the warehouses of Manchester. Some of the parties happened in the warehouses where cotton was stored that was brought over from India, and I just wanted to tie that in with the cotton industry, and part of Gandhi's independence struggle, homespun, which was a fight against a British policy which stopped Indians making cotton in their villages. So it was a piece based around that, but also I wanted to look at the music that I was involved in at the time, and that was on at Contact. Worked on another piece with Aves for BBC Radio 4, which came about because at the time we was involved in a band together called Nashini, and I talked to Aves about something that had happened in India in 1984 in Bhopal, which was the gas disaster which killed thousands of people, and it was basically an American chemical company that was manufacturing pesticides, and there was a massive leak due to safety regulations being ignored, and I talked to Aves about it, and we came up with a piece about it which was called Bhopal, and the BBC heard it, and at the time the BBC was wanting to do a docudrama about it, and they asked us to get involved, and Aves became one of the two writers on it, and I did the sound and music for it, and the piece went on to win an Amnesty International Award, and that was a great piece to work on. Since then I've been producing bands, playing in bands, carrying on doing the theatre stuff. At the moment I'm doing quite a bit of work with Red Ladder Theatre Company. I've done quite a few shows with them now, and got a show on tour at the moment called Ugly, written by Emma Adams, which is doing quite well, which is a very dark piece about what could happen in the next 20, 30, 40 years in terms of environment and economically and stuff. So it's a great piece. There's my plug. Go and see it. Yeah, a lot actually, because I learnt a lot about what was going on at the time in terms of Guantanamo Bay and the plight of the people who ended up in those places, and was very fortunate enough to meet Mohsen Beg, who was held captive there for a while, and he was really inspirational to meet him, because even though he'd been through that ordeal, he had a very forgiving aura about him, about what had happened to him, and I found that really surprising, and also very inspiring, that someone who could go through such a trauma could come out of it with a forgiving nature, and that's what I've taken away from In God We Trust, and I was quite close to that piece, and I think that's what I learnt about the whole issue, which was the most rewarding aspect for me, I think.